President-elect Donald Trump campaigned on repealing the Affordable Care Act. I spoke with Senator Bill Cassidy about his position on the issue. Will you get behind Donald Trump repealing the bill, or is something like keeping parts of the bill something you'll get behind? Where do you see this issue going?
I don't think it should be. Let me start over. As a doctor, our kind of maxim is the patient first. So what we need to do is look at that patient. Imagine she's in the middle of a course of therapy for chemotherapy. She voted for Donald Trump. She wants something different, but she doesn't want her current therapy disrupted. Now we need to put something in place that meets all her needs. Replacement for Obamacare that gives her the power, not the federal government, but also makes sure that in the transition there's no disruption of her care. Now, we have principles on how that will be done, but that should be the kind of prism through which we look.
Because you hear Democrats already saying, look, 20 million people are relying on the health care law to get coverage. If it's repealed, they're going to lose the coverage. How could Donald Trump keep that coverage for those people and at the same time get rid of Obamacare? What's the main thing that needs to be kept?
Pete Sessions and I have introduced a bill, the Cassidy-Sessions bill, if you will, that does exactly that. We repeal the individual mandates, the employer mandates, but we ensure that all have access to coverage. We restore the law of big numbers, which is to say that by getting the young invincibles in the insured pool, we don't have sticker shock when it comes to premiums. So we think we accomplished that with the Cassidy-Sessions bill. I am all about coverage. I worked for 30 years in a hospital for the uninsured. So we're not about 20 million people losing coverage. We are about giving the patient the power, not the federal government.
Have you pitched that idea to Donald Trump and his administration? Have you had a chance to do that?
I've spoken to members of the transition team, and they are familiar with our work. And of course, the proper role of Congress is to have input. I think there'll be this kind of back and forth between Congress and the Trump team. The Cassidy-Sessions bill, though, is the only bill in legislative language that has been introduced in both the House and the Senate. So we feel like we're well positioned.
And do you think he'll have a difficult time explaining to his supporters who put him in office, Donald Trump, if he keeps parts of Obamacare, like the 26-year-old rule?
The 26-year-old rule was originally a Republican idea. And that was one of the few Republican ideas that Obamacare took. I don't mind keeping a good idea, particularly one that started off as a Republican idea. When people say they want Obamacare repealed, they want that part repealed where the federal government takes power away from the family and gives it to a bureaucrat. They want to make sure they can't get kicked off an insurance plan, but they also want the power of choice to choose the benefits they wish and therefore how much they're going to pay. And that's what a Republican proposal will offer.
And the last question for you, your prediction. Are the Republicans actually going to repeal it since they control government? Repeal, replace, change it? Are we going to see a change to Obamacare, a major change?
Absolutely. We're going to give the patient the power, not a bureaucrat. And as a physician taking care of patients, when the patient has the power, the patient does well.
Reporting in Washington, I'm Nicholas Balassi.